परमेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. I am very late today due to several reasons. 16-17 minutes past 11. Okay, I'll put in another watch. It becomes easy. That's very far. I think 17 minutes. Okay, past 11. We shall continue. Today is Sugama class. I think today is Sugama only, Thursday. Yeah, today is Thursday, 24th. What is that? 24th. 24th. Purvapakshi is told that a person who does the Shastriya karma, Punya karma, to go to heaven and all, he knows the Atman. To this we replied, Siddhanti replied, that even that Shastriya Vyavahara, that is Karmakanda, also requires what? Atma Adhyasa, Atmanatma Adhyasa, that is Dehadhyasa only. So, yato Dehadhyasam vina Dehavyaparena Atmanaha Kartrutva Bhoktutvayor Asambhavaha. Neither you can do karma nor you can expect to enjoy the result without identifying yourself with the body. Okay. Nacha atmiyatvam siddham dehasya vinadhyasam. Neither you have a adhyasa upon the body as myself, nor as mine. Mine means M-I-N-E. As a mine, madiya, mamakaratvam. Neither of these things are possible without adhyasa. Therefore, prativakshati cha agre vastavikam shariratmanoh swaswami sambandham bhagavan bhashyakaraha. Because Shankaracharya himself is going to say in the 4th sutra that Sharira and Atma, this sambandha, which is due to adhyasa, nahi atmanah shariratmabhimana lakshanam mithyagnanam muktva Anyataha sashariratvam shakyam kalpayitum. Sashariratvam, being embodied, that means coming to use the body, possess the body and use the body. You come to possess the body and use the body for no other reason. You come to possess the body and use the body for due to no other reason except adhyasa. Okay. For no other reason except adhyasa, you can come to possess the body. Purvapakshi told, I use the body, but I have no adhyasa with the body. See, people just for sake of argument, they argue. It looks very, he is not looking at his anubhava. He is just arguing, ignoring the factual experience of himself. He says, I am using the body without adhyasa. But without adhyasa, you can neither possess the body nor can use the body. Because without adhyasa, there is no body. He says, see, Atmanah shariratmabhimana lakshanam mithyagnanam muktva. Except the misunderstanding, that is adhyasa, of characterized by the mutual exchange of Atma and Anatma. Except for this, sashariratvam cannot be imagined. Possessing a body cannot take place in any other way, in no other way. Possessing the body can take place in no other way except due to adhyasa. This is what Bhashyakara is going to say in the 4th sutra. Therefore, tadevam angirikutepi atmano aham pratyaya gamyatve na tadrishatma vedinopi dehat. I think this we have covered already in the last class. Anyway, I'll proceed. I'll translate and proceed. I don't explain much. Tadrishatma vedinopi dehadhyasam vina karmasvadikaraha siddhyati. He says, here the non-Advaitins do like this. Atma by its nature, aham pratyaya. Atma is Jivatma, but no body association. See, Advaitins say Adhyasa at the 2 level. One is Atma with the mind, Atma and Aham Buddhi, I notion. Atma and I notion, they are mutually superimposed. Atma and I notion. So Atma is taken to be an individual. I notion, that is Aham Pratyaya and Atmanoh Adhyasa. Second, the same Adhyasa continues into the body. First, Atma is superimposed upon the I notion as Atma, Atma has I notion. Then second step is the same I notion continues further to identify with the body. This is the 2 level of Adhyasa which Advaitins talk of. Non-Advaitins talk of only 1 level of Adhyasa, the Adhyasa with the body alone. Adhyasa with the physical body alone is Adhyasa. That the Jiva Bhava, identify that I have a notion of I notion, I am. This I am is not Adhyasa, that is the nature of Atma, they say. Only identification with the body alone is Adhyasa. Therefore he says, therefore Purvapakshi says, I know the Atman as Jiva. Jiva means I notion, Aham Pratyaya. I know the Atman as Aham Pratyaya, that is Atma Jnanam, but only Dehadhyasa I don't have. I know that I am the Jiva alone. Jiva means only sense of I is there, individuality. I have a notion of individuality, yet I don't identify with the body. This much Atma Jnanam I have, so where is the question of Dehadhyasa? I don't have. See, when you go to Vaikuntha or when you go to Swarga, you de-identify with this body. Manushya Sharira, you de-identify with the Manushya Sharira. That means you give up your identification, Adhyasa, with the human physical body. So I know that Atma is different from the physical body. So therefore that Paraloka Vyavahara, doing Punya Karma and going to heaven, or doing Upasana and going to Sargaloka, no Adhyasa, no Avidya, no Ajnana is involved. This is what Purvapakshi says. Siddhanti says, even if you know that you are an individual, that you are a Jiva independent of the body, yet to do karma you require the physical body. You require identification with the physical body. Okay? Without the identification with the physical body, you can't do any punya karma. Dehadhyasam vina karmasu adhikaraha na siddhyati. If you don't identify with the body, nobody can do the karma. But you are doing the karma. That proves that you have identification with the body. Your identification with the body. Then you see, ato avidvad vishayatvameva sarvasya shastriya vyavaharasya iti tattvam. This is the final conclusion. Therefore, even the shastriya karma going to Sarga and Brahmaloka also involves identification with the body. When you go to Brahmaloka, you may not have this, you don't have, why you may not have? You don't have this Manushya Sharira, but there you have an individuality and you have another body pertaining to Brahmaloka. Vaikuntha Yogya, Brahmaloka Yogya, Brahma, Vaikuntha both are same alone. So, Vaikuntha Yogya Shariram you are going to have. You talk to the Upasakas, you assume a Divya Sharira. Vishnu Samana Sharira. You assume a Divya Sharira and go to Vaikuntha. That means you have to assume in another body. You have to assume in another body. Without that you can't go to Vaikuntha. You can't experience all the things there. So you will assume in another body. Therefore he says, some body you require identification with the body. Once the identification is there, you become an individual karta bhokta. Even in Vaikuntha you remain a karta bhokta. Okay. Tathapi Vedanta Pratipadya Atmaswarupa Vedanam tu naivasti. Thus you may claim that you have Atma Jnanam, but the fact is you don't know the Atman which Vedanta teaches. Vedanta teaches Atma to be pure Chaitanyam without individuality. This is important. You know that you are consciousness. You know that you are consciousness, but not free from individuality. You are an individual consciousness. You are aware, but still you have an individual consciousness. It is not individual consciousness. The real Atma is, there is a consciousness without individuality. Therefore, tathapi Vedanta Pratipadyatma Swarupa Vedanam tu naivasti tasya. Therefore, he doesn't have the knowledge of that Atman which is free from individuality and which can be known only through Vedanta. Therefore, unless you learn through Vedanta, unless you learn that Atman which can be learned only through Vedanta, you continue to have the individuality and identification with the body. If not this body, you will have some other body. But some body identification is inevitable. Okay. Tathapi Vedanta Pratipadyatma Swarupa Vedanantu naivasti tasya tathacha Shastriya Vyavaharasyapi avidvad Vishayatvam yat pratignatam tad vyahatam ityaha. Therefore, even the Shastriya Vyavahara also takes place within Adhyasa only. Then what is the nature of Atma? Kappunarayam Atmaswarupa Visheshaha yam avidvaneva adhikare Shastra Vyavahare. Then what is the nature of Atma? Okay. Then what is the nature of Atma? Which a Karmadhikari knows. Karmadhikari also knows the Atma. But that's not a completely freedom from the body. He says, Kruta Vipranasha Akruta Bhyagama Pariharaya Karmakandi Yairapi Nitya Pumanangi Kriyate Eva. Jiva is Nitya. The same Jiva continues in another body. Okay. Sacha Jnana Shakti Swabhavaha. He has got a Jnana Shakti. Anyatha Tasya Bhoktrutva Asiddhe. He has got a Kartrutva, the agency of action. Bhoktrutvam, the enjoyership. Without that he can't do karma, he can't enjoy. Then Sarvagatascha, no. Anyatha Dehantara Praptya Sambhavat. Hey, what is this he is talking? This is a Nayyayika's Paksha, Ayya Rama. Nayyayikas say, this is a Nayyayikas, I understand now. Nayyayikas say, Atma means Jivatma. For them, Atma is Jivatma. So, Jivatma has got a Jnana Shakti, Kartrutva Shakti, and then Sarvagata, he says. Sarvagata, you see how ridiculous they talk. Anyatha Dehantara Praptya Sambhava. He, Jiva, gives up this body and goes to another body. Therefore, he is Sarvavyapaka. See, a Sarvavyapaka, really they have misinterpreted, wrongly interpreted. Even I have studied, when I was studying Tarka, my Tarka teacher would say that, tell me the same thing, Tarka Guru. One Kashi, some Swamiji came from Kashi. So he would tell the same thing. And he says, Atma is Sarva Vyapaka because you will have to assume another body, you will have to go to other world. Jiva wanders around all over. Hey, that doesn't make you Sarva Vyapaka. If you go around the world, do you become Sarva Vyapaka? You can go around, what is there? You are an individual, go all around the world. That doesn't make you Sarva Vyapaka. Because if you are Sarva Vyapaka, you don't have to go. That's a simple logic. If you are all pervasive, you don't have to go. But you have to go. Leave this place and go another place. That shows you are not all pervasive. You are capable of going all over. This much you can say. Sarvagata, they misinterpret. Sarva Vyapakatvam, they misinterpret as all pervasive. But is Sarva Vyapakatvam, Sarvagatatvam, according to the way they interpret, the reason they give, the Naiyayikas, the Tarkikas, doesn't imply all pervasiveness. It means is capable of going all over. Capable of going all over. That doesn't mean he exists everywhere. It doesn't exist everywhere. He is capable of going everywhere. But he says, Atma is Sarvagata. Therefore not connected to one body. Because I am capable of going all over the world, all over the lokas. I am capable of going any other loka. That proves that I am not associated with the body. See how wrongly he understands. Anyatha dehantara prapta sambhavaviti iti te angi kurvanti iti hi te angi kurvanti te ke. Ayyo Rama. Iti te andre yarivaru Naiyayika. I have studied this. It is Naiyayikas. Karteti Naiyayikas. Naiyayikas know Atma to be Karta. Okay, now for this the reply is Nacha Anumana Gamyameva Atmatattvam. Ayyo, still they are continuing. He is still continuing. Purvapakshi is still continuing. He says Atma is independent of the body. You know only through Anumana, Siddhanti told. He says no, not only through Anumana, you know through Pratyaksha also. Aham pratyaya gamyatvena manasa pratyaksha gamyasyapi urari kuru karanat. It is manasa. Anumana gamyameva atmatattvam tesham aham pratyaya gamyatvena manasa pratyaksha gamyatvasyapi urari karanat. He says Atma is a manasa pratyaksha. Strange. Does anybody know Atma through mind? Manasa pratyaksham also is wrong. Ataha kimavashishyate yad avedanena vidvan karmi bhanyate. Therefore, what is there to be known? We know the Atma already. By knowing the Karmakanda Atma, by knowing the Karmakandi Atma, Paraloka Gami Atma, by knowing a Paraloka Gami, Karmakandiya Atma, Paraloka Karmakandiyaihi. I think Mimamsakas also the same thing. Naiyayikas and Mimamsakas. I think we can add others also. Not only Mimamsakas, Naiyayikas, even certain non-Advaitins also say the same thing. Anyway, so to this Vedantin replies, Siddhanti replies, Na. Taduchyate astyatma tattvam Vedanteika Vedyam. Yes, there is Atma. There is still higher Atma. That can be known only through Vedanta. That is a Sakshi. You don't know yourself to be Sakshi. You are talking of Paraloka Gami Atma, Dehatirikta Atma, but Sakshi Atma you don't know. It is a Paraloka Gami, Dehatirikta. It is beyond the body. It is subject to, it's capable of going to other worlds and assume other bodies. Yet It is not a totally Sakshi Atma that you don't know. Vedanta teaches that. Until you know, still you are under Adhyasa. Okay. Nanu Vedanteshvapi Atmanastu. Pura Pakshi. Unnecessary, those fellows arguing too much, you see. I think it is time for him to better shut his mouth and listen to Vedanta. But still he tries to argue. Even if he is defeated, even after he is defeated, still he wants to argue. See how he argues. Next. See, Nanu, but Vedanta also tells me that I am a Jiva, that I will go, all those things. Vedanta doesn't tell that you are a Jiva. But you see how he defends. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. See, the Purvapakshi defending Vedantic knowledge he is using to defend his Jivatma. Vedantic knowledge using to defend the Jivatma, not Brahmatma. See, Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati, very Upanishad says. Vedanta tells me, Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Everything becomes dear to me only for sake of Atma. Okay. Iti samsarinameva praschitya. In this mantra, it is referring to Jiva, Paralokagami. Samsari andre Paralokagami. Paralokagami Dehantara Sambandhi Atma. Atma Vare Drashtavyaha ityuchyate nadikankemapi. Then Atma Vare Drashtavyaha, that Atma must be known. You see, this is a Yajnavalkya statement. Atmanastu kamaya sa. But he is not referring to individual Atma. There he is referring to Paramatma only. Anyway, so Atma Vare Drashtavyaha, Atmada Nijaswarupavannu tilkollabeku ಎಂದು ಹೇಳಿ ಇತ್ಯುಚ್ಯತೆ ನಾದಿಕಂಕಿಮಪಿ. Okay, Atmanastu kamaya priyam bhavati is true. Everything becomes dear to you only because Atma is dear to you. Others become dear to me on account of Atma, or on account of Atma being dear to me. See, everything becomes dear. This argument is very nice. Upanishadic says, everything becomes dear to me. Everything dear to me on account of Atma, on account of Atma being dear to me. Atma being dear to me, because everything becomes dear to me for sake of Atma. For sake of Atma. A thing is dear to me not for the sake of the thing, because the thing becomes dear to Atma. Because Atma is dear to me. That means the thing becomes dear to me through my dearness, through my love for Atma. You love other objects only through your love for the Atma. That means for sake of your own love, you love other things. For sake of my own love, I love other things. Otherwise, if the other thing is not useful to love me, see, if the other thing is not useful to Atma, I won't love it. If other things were not useful to Atma, other things were not to make me happy, I would not care. I love anything only it makes me happy. That means it makes my Atma happy. It makes my love myself. That means I love everything else through my love for myself. I love anything else only through my love for myself. That means the thing becomes dear to me through my love for myself. Through, not independent of love for myself. See, this is an interesting thing. Anything else, any other person becomes dear to me through my love for myself, not independent of my love for myself, without the other object or other person. The other object or other person, if they don't contribute to my happiness, I don't love. Other person or other objects, I won't love if it doesn't contribute to my happiness, doesn't contribute my love for myself. Therefore, love for myself is primary. love for myself is primary, and love for other objects and other people is indirect love. Because as long as they contribute for my love for myself, if they are included in my love for myself, when I have a love for myself, if I include them in my love for myself, then I love them. If suppose I exclude them, in my love for myself, that means if I don't see them as related to myself, if I don't see any object, any person as not related to me, not contributing to my happiness, I just don't love them. I can love them only when they also become related to myself, because love for myself is natural. So, if my love for myself includes others, extends to whomever it extends to whichever objects my love for myself extends, only that person, only that object I love, and that too only for that time, only for such time as long as I extend my love for myself to that person. Only when I extend, first is love for myself. As long as I extend my love for myself, as long as I extend my self-love to others, or in other words, as long as I include others as related to my self-love, then I also love them. That means my love for others is through my love for myself. Okay, my love for other people, love for other objects are through my love for myself. Okay, that means through first primary is love for myself. Through that love, others, people, other objects come. As long as they get included in myself. Included means they get related to myself or contribute to my self-love. To that extent, whatever extent they contribute to my self-love extends to them. To that extent only I love others and other objects. When my self-love ceases to extend to others, it gets diluted. My self-love remains primary. If my self-love extends to another person, as long as it extends, so long I love. Okay. If that extending stops, if the relationship with others through my self-love ceases to extend to others, then what happens? When it ceases, my love for the other person also ceases, recedes. My love for other person recedes. When it again takes place, again I start loving the other person through my love. Means that person should be included in my self-love. If I can't include, they get rejected. I have nothing to do with them. I have no business with them. That means my self-love is primary. All other people, all other things are through my self-love. Means if they contribute to my self-happiness, then they are there. Therefore, Purvapakshi says, Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Everything you love for sake of your self-love. Okay. This shows that, see, here Shruti Yajnavalkya is talking in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, me and others. He is talking to people, I and other people and other objects. When he is separating all other people and all other objects and talking about my self-love, he is definitely talking about my Jivatma. He is not talking Brahmatma. He is not talking all-pervasive Atma. He is talking my individual Atma only. Because I love my individual Atma primarily, and others I love them only through myself. So here, this Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka, in this he is telling self-love means only individual love. When he is talking of self-love, Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati, he is talking Jivatma, individual Atma only. And next sentence Yajnavalkya says, therefore, First he says everything else becomes dear to you only when you are dear. That means only when it is colored, only when it is covered in your self-love. Therefore, since Atma is so important, it is an object of primary love, and object of primary love, therefore that Atma you must know. Okay. Atma vare drashtavyaha, that Atma you must know. Therefore, he says, it is individual Atma only. Upanishad also, Vedanta is also teaching individual Atma only. Purvapakshi says. Siddhanta replies, no, you have misunderstood. First sentence you are correct, you have correctly understood. For sake of Atman alone, everything becomes dear. The love for all other things are as long as you have a love for yourself. If somebody makes me to love myself, I love the person. If somebody helps me to hate myself, I hate the other person. See, if some object or if some person doesn't help me to love myself, if it makes me to hate myself, I hate that person because he is contributing to my self-hatred. If he contributes to my self-love, oh, he is a very nice man. He or she or anybody, person or an object, they are nice things, nice people because they help me to love myself. Okay. Therefore, self-love is primary. This much is okay. You have understood rightly. But that Atma which you primarily love, what is the real nature of Atma? Means what? What is its real extent? That Atma you must know. That Atma is primarily dear, is accepted. Atma is primarily dear and everything else becomes dear to you only through Atmas. Only through Atma. Therefore, Atma is primarily dear and naturally dear. Two things. Atma, your love for Atma is primary and is also natural. You can't escape it, you can't compromise it. You can't compromise it. You can't live without it. It is inevitable. It is not dispensable. Your love for yourself is inevitable. You must love. You cannot live without loving yourself. Therefore, it is the primary love and it is inevitable love. This much what you told is correct. But the second sentence you told, Shruti is telling you to study the Atma. Therefore, Atma vare drashtavyaha, to understand the Atma, to learn about the Atma. There when he says, he talked about individual Atma and is asking me to learn about individual Atma. No, this second sentence is wrong. He is talking about individual Atma is okay. Individual Atma is dearest for everybody. Dearer than anything else on the earth. That much is correct. But therefore he is telling, since Atma is dearer than anything else, Atma is the primarily dear, therefore understand the extent of Atma, to what extent it extends. Atma is not individual Atma, it is primarily all-pervasive. That Atma you need to know. In second sentence, Atma is second sentence, the Vedanta is asking you to learn a deeper Atma. Deeper Atma, okay. Deeper Atma means the real Vedantic Atma, Sakshi Atma, Adviti Atma. You know the individual Atma is dear. It is dear we understand. But you have to understand that dear Atma, how long it extends. If it extends all over, why? Why do you need to know? Why do you need to know the extension of Atma? Because your love for yourself is natural and primary. Okay? Your love for yourself is natural and primary. That is a universal fact, everybody knows. But if it is an individual Atma, all other things contribute to your unhappiness. If they contribute to your self-love, you will become happy. If they contribute to your self-hatred, you become unhappy. Therefore, the other world and other people can make you sorrowful also. Therefore, you have to understand they have to understand another dimension of the Atma. That Atma pervades everybody, excludes nothing. That Atma you need to learn, because if you know that, then you can never become unhappy. Now, with knowing this, you have a love, true, but that love for your individual Atma, limited Atma. The love you have is for limited Atma. If you have a love for limited Atma, then your happiness is also limited, because if the other person gets connected to you, another person or another object get connected to you, then you become disturbed. You want to get rid of another person. But as an individual, you are always associated with some or other object. Some or other object, some or other person, you are continuously associated. And those with whom you are associated, those objects you are associated with, are other than you. Your Atma is individual. So, when you get connected with others, other people and other objects, what happens? Your individual Atma gets compromised. That means your individual Atma gets covered. Your individual Atma becomes secondary. When supposing you see, when you are alone, you are primary. You are important. You alone are most important. But when you go to a meeting, or when you go to a gathering where many people are there, you become one of the many people. Do you become primarily important? You become secondary. There are many other people. There are many other objects. Just I gave you worldly example. Similarly, every moment you are connected with the objects and people. Then if you take Atma to be only individual Atma becomes a secondary, is overpowered, is controlled, is dominated by all other people and other objects. Then that individual Atma suffers, because being individual, it is always get connected with non-Atmas. Anatma, you are getting connected with Anatma. These Anatmas keep dominating you, covering you, make you unimportant. Then what happens? You will suffer. That means your Atma's love gets continuously covered up. When Atma's love continuously gets dominated, covered up by Anatmas which you don't love, okay, when Anatmas, other people and other objects get connected to you, they demand your importance, your attention. They demand your importance and attention. When you pay attention to Anatma and other objects, other people and other objects, your self-love suffers, gets covered up. You start suffering it. The other fellows are giving trouble to me. They are giving trouble to me. They are taking away my happiness. That means they are diluting your self-love. They are forcibly taking your attention elsewhere other than your Atma, because Atma is limited. Your Atma is an individual Atma. Your Atma is a limited Atma. You can't continuously pay attention to your individual Atma. You have to be in association with Anatma and other people, other objects and other people. When you come in association with other people and other objects, if they are conducive to your individual happiness, you love them. But if they are not, if they become dominate you, if you become dominant and others are secondary, you love them. Your self-love is dominant and others are conducive to your self-love, they are secondary. As long as they are secondary, you love them. But sometimes they become primary and they make you secondary. Then what happens? Your individual Atma becomes a problem to you. That means your individual Atma gets subordinated and other things get primary importance. Then you feel neglected. Don't you? You feel neglected. You feel unhappy. Your love for yourself is forcibly shared by others. Even if you don't love them. Even if you don't love them, you are supposed to pay attention to them. You are supposed to ignore yourself and start loving Anatma. That's where you become angry. You become unhappy. You become frustrated. You become everything. In short, you become samsari. You suffer from samsara. Therefore, Your love for yourself, we are not questioning. Your love for yourself is good. But the self which you love is a limited Atma. That limited Atma is subjecting you to suffering. Therefore, Yajnavalkya says in the Brihadaranyaka to his wife Maitreyi, Atma is an object of self-love. That I accepted. But that Atma is an individual Atma. Being an individual Atma, you are not able to love it continuously because other things are drawing your attention. Your self-love is suffering. Other objects, other people are drawing your attention, covering up your self-love, making you miserable. Okay. Covering up, dominating, making you secondary, drawing your attention elsewhere. You love yourself, but your self-love suffers. Then you become unhappy. Then what to do? Know the Atma. The real Atma is all pervasive. It is not an individual Atma. Then wherever you pay attention, you alone will remain. If Atma is all pervasive, if Atma is everything, whichever you pay attention to, whichever object comes, you will be with yourself. See, if you are an individual Atma, if there are Anatma other than you, if there are things other than you, when you pay attention to others, you will miss yourself. Missing yourself means you suffer. Missing yourself means what? Missing your happiness. Atma is self-love means Atma is happiness. If Atma is limited, when others become primary, where others draw your attention, they demand your attention, they take away forcibly, they force you to pay attention to others, your attention to yourself becomes a secondary. You will miss yourself. When you miss yourself, what happens? You miss your happiness. Then the other objects make you unhappy. Therefore, you should know Atma is not individual. Your love for Atma is okay, but Atma is not individual Atma. It is all pervasive. All pervasive means what? Wherever you pay attention, you alone remain. Wherever you pay attention, you alone remain. You are all pervasive. You are everything. You are the entire universe. You are all people, all objects, all things, everything. If you are everything, wherever you pay attention, you will be only with you. Your self-love is not missing. Okay? You don't miss your self-love because the self is so vast, so all-pervasive that you never miss yourself. That means you never miss your love. When you don't miss your self-love means you don't miss your happiness. If Atma is all-pervasive, you don't miss your love. That means you don't miss your happiness. If Atma is individual, when your attention is forcibly taken to others, you miss yourself. That means you miss your self-love. You miss your self-happiness. Self-happiness means you miss happiness. You understand how Dvaitam creates dukkha. Dvaitam creates samsara. Now do you understand? I think our time is up. Today we started little late, but so I just repeat that, summarize it. If your Atma is limited and self-love is natural, whenever you love yourself, you are happy. Isn't it? You love for yourself is natural and primary. When you love yourself, when you are in love for yourself, you are happy. But if Atma is limited, your self-love you will be missing because you are forcibly made to pay attention to somebody else. Then what happens? You miss your Atma. You miss your Atma which you love because your Atma is limited. Your Atma is limited. You miss your Atma which you love because love cannot be changed. Love for Atma is natural. But what you love if you miss, what you love is yourself. What you love is a limited Atma. Then limited Atma can be missed when you pay attention to Anatma. Anatma is vast. Atma is small. Atma means yourself, individual. Individual Atma is small area. Anatma is a huge world. That means when you are in the world, you will be more often missing yourself, and very short while you come to yourself. You find yourself a very short while, but more often you miss yourself. Why you miss yourself? Because you are limited. You are not the whole world. You are not all pervasive. Since you are a limited Atma, you end up missing. But love for yourself, but what you love is yourself. What you love is yourself. So if you are with what you love, if you always stay with your beloved, that is yourself. If you always stay with your beloved, you are always happy. But Atma is limited. Atma being limited, you miss yourself. Because most of the time you have to pay attention to somebody else other than the Atma. Atma gets covered up by Anatma. All the time you have to pay attention to something else, your Atma gets covered up. That means you keep missing your Atma. You keep missing what you love. Why? Because you are limited. Because you are limited, you keep missing yourself. That is your suffering. That is samsara. Then what to do? Your love for yourself is naturally there, which you can't create. Nobody can create, nobody can change. It is naturally there. Only thing is, Atma, which is limited, has to be understood as all pervasive. If it is all pervasive Atma, wherever your attention is, you are with yourself. You don't miss Atma. When you don't miss Atma, you will be always with what you love. What you love is Atma. You will always with what you love. When you are always, because Atma is all pervasive. If Atma is all pervasive, if Atma is everything, then wherever you are with Atma. That means your lovable you is always with you. You always find what you love. When what you love is always with you, you never miss it. What you love is always with you. What you love, you never miss. You never miss what you love. That means you are always happy. Okay? You are always happy. You will be always happy because what you love is always with you. But if you are a limited Atma, what you love, that is your own self, you will be missing. You will be missing the Atma when your attention is forcibly diverted to an Atma. You will be missing once in a while, paying attention, most of the time missing. More often your attention is away from the Atma. For a short while, once in a while, rarely you come to Atma. That means rarely you get happiness. Most of the time you miss your Atma. Love for you means what you love, you should be with it. You should be with what you love. But what you love is naturally, because love cannot be forced upon something. What you naturally love is yourself. Love cannot be created, love cannot be forced upon you. Love is there, natural love for yourself. It is natural love, choiceless love. Natural in the sense, choicelessly you love yourself. Choicelessly you love yourself. That means, as long as you find yourself, you are happy. When you miss, even for a second, you miss your happiness. Then what to do? Don't miss the Atma. But Atma being limited, Anatma being more, Atma being small, you miss Atma and you are more often you will be with Anatma. What am I to do? What is the solution? Saying this, Yajnavalkya says, you have to learn the Atma which is all pervasive. Okay. When it is all pervasive, means what you love is all pervasive. Atma means what you love. If you now at the moment what I love is limited. If what I love is all pervasive, you will never miss. You will never miss your happiness. What you love is all pervasive. Everywhere and everything is what you love alone. You are always happy. You don't miss what you love. When you don't miss what you love, then you are always happy. Therefore, Atma Vare Drashtavyaha. Then Yajnavalkya says in that Brihadaranyaka, therefore, that Atma has to be understood. Drashtavyaha means you have to see, you have to intuit. Intuit as what? Intuit as all pervasive. Its real nature, it is all pervasive, which you don't know. Therefore, there is ajnana. This not knowing is giving trouble to you, is the cause of your suffering. Therefore, know that Atman which is all pervasive. You don't have to suffer like this. Now, the present Atman which you know, which you love, is limited. Because of the limited Atma which you love, you keep missing it. Because when you come in contact with Anatma and other people, you keep missing it. Whenever you miss, you suffer. You feel unhappy. If you don't want to miss the Atma, see the Atma everywhere. Then you don't miss it. That means you are always with what you love. You are always happy. Therefore, Atma Vare Drashtavyaha. Okay, this is the Siddhanti's answer. Tatra hi bodhyamana atma ashanaya adyatitaha. Anyway, this is completed. The Siddhanti answers. We will continue the answer in the next class. Okay, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat.